Hey everyone, Jack Fish Tips here, and today I wanted to do a little review of the Fluval Flex. So this is the 9-gallon or 34-litre Fluval Flex, which is home to my Betta that you can see here. And I have a video that I'll link down in the description that just runs through how I turned this tank into an appropriate Betta tank for this little guy here. So just to begin with, I'm going to start with the controller because it's early in the morning and I haven't started anything yet. So the Fluval Flex comes with this little guy here. So you can just turn it on. The infrared emitter's up here, and you can have blue, green, or red. I never use these. Some people might find them better than others. I guess it depends on your aquascape and what you've gone for. I always use the white light. And the white light has this plus minus, so I normally go reasonably dim, but for the purpose of the video, I'm going to turn it up to max lighting, just so we can get so we can see everything. So this is my Fluval Flex here. It's really deep. That's really nice actually for getting a good aquascape with the plants. You can get some real depth with those taller plants at the back. As you can see here, this is actually like my third iteration of arranging these plants, but I've got a bit of a forest on the right hand side. And then you can have a smaller plant in the front here, although he's growing up a bit. I need to trim him a little bit. And then I've got the driftwood down here. So moving on, if I open the lid, my only negative of this tank is that there's no hinge mechanism, so the lid is totally separate from the tank, but that does also have advantages in that you can just completely remove the lid when you're doing bits and bobs. The light is up here. I'm going to leave that on for the time being just because it makes things easier to see. So the first thing you'll likely notice is this filter stuff here. The reason for this is I've got a Betta and I want to reduce the flow rate, and that's explained in my Betta video that I've linked down below. But it actually comes with two of these nozzles attached originally with quite high flow rate. Like the water, if you angle this up, the water will be sort of flowing over and agitating the water surface. It's great for oxygenating the water. So that's really good. In the back here, you've got the pump outlet and you've got a space for a Fluval heater. So the Fluval heater sits in the side here. You can actually see it through that textured material. Works really well. My only comment is the thermostat's not very good, so it's worth having a temperature sensor so you can actually figure out what 24 degrees actually means, because obviously you don't want things too hot. So for the purposes of this, I've just removed the lid so I can show you the filter. So it just slides up like so. You've got activated carbon, and then you've got some stuff in the bottom that's supposed to be good for harboring beneficial bacteria, so that's really good. And I just occasionally rinse that in the tank water when I'm doing a water change. I don't do any more than that so far. I'll probably replace the active carbon at some point, but for the most part it seems to just work fine. As I pick that filter up, it's kicked off a load of dirt, but basically there's another space here if you want to use another filter. There's then two of these, one here and one right at the base that I'll hopefully be able to show you down here. Difficult to see, but so these are shrimp guards, which also stop the shrimp getting into the back. I've got 6 cherry shrimp in here. I've never had an issue with them going into the back, so that works really well. So overall, I'm really happy with this tank. It's a really good all-in-one system with the sort of fenced off area at the back to hold your pump and everything, and the inbuilt light as well is doing really well in terms of plant growth. These plants have really sprouted up compared to what they were in the shop, so I'm really happy with that. So now just some extra Fluval bits that I got when I got this tank. One is just the water conditioner. I mean, it works like water conditioner, not much to be said there. The other one is this Fluval cycle stuff, which is sort of the advertised, helps prevent fish death if you want to do a fish in cycle. What I would say about this is I found it's really good at getting rid of ammonia earlier. So I had ammonia for around 3 days in my cycle before it all turned into nitrite. However, it did take sort of 2 to 3 weeks for that nitrite to all turn into nitrate. It tells you to add quite a lot, and I don't know if a lot of that died because I ended up with a few weeks where I couldn't get rid of the nitrate levels. They were always sitting at 40 to 50 parts per million, even with really large water changes. And in the end, I had to do sort of 2 back-to-back 50 to 60% water changes in order to lower it. But now that I've lowered it, this tank is sitting at about sort of 10 parts per million. It reaches about 20 parts per million if I don't do a water change after sort of 2 to 3 weeks. But normally I'm doing a water change every 1 to 2 weeks, and that seems to work fine. And this is just with a Betta and 6 cherry shrimp, so there's not much biological load. They are all real plants, so sometimes I do get leaves fall off, but actually I don't really find that adds much to the nitrate levels, so that's good. So the last thing of note is the feeding meal here. I just feed 4 Betta granules. My Betta knows when they're coming and he just comes and munches them all up. So here I've just put in 4 Betta granules and there he is now, he's eating them all as they come over. There we go. So that works really well. I've heard some horror stories because obviously sometimes fish can jump, and a couple of people on forums said that their Betta had actually jumped through this hole. I've not found that to be an issue at all. My understanding of why a Betta would jump is if the water conditions are not good enough for them. They're used to living in small ponds, small puddles, sorry, and so they jump between the puddles to get a puddle with better water conditions. So as long as you keep your tank nice and healthy in terms of nitrate levels, ammonia levels and nitrite levels, then he should be happy. So that is my review of the Fluval Flex 34 litre. Please like and subscribe, leave any comments, any suggestions, anything you might like to see in the future, and I'll be happy to do that. Thanks for watching.